What's going on, people? So, real quick, I'll give you the same thing I said in the beginning of this one, right? So, if you saw the original unboxing of these when I did that little live session, you probably were expecting me to do 3 shoes whenever I got around to this little recording. Well, these right here, what is this? The Actibreeze 3D 2, which is, obviously the second version of the 1 here. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on this because I ordered another size, a size down or whatever. So I want to see how that whole thing plays out rather than record this with a bunch of speculation and then have to address it later. It's easier on me, right? So if you're looking to hear about these, you're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer, right? Anyways, so this right here, that's what we're gonna focus on right now, right? So as you can see, or maybe you saw, like I said, women's size 11, right? It's not for me, right? None of that matches up because I think a size 11 for Asics would be a 10 for men. I'm a 9.5, so even if I was to try these on, they'd be a half size big anyway, and there's a possibility that because it's an Asics shoe, they may have retooled the women's version to be more for a women's foot, or a woman's foot, I should say. So yeah, so long story short, not putting these on. Don't expect that. Just want to let you know now. Anyway, so moving on, what we're going to do is knock out a review on this right here. This is the Asics Novablast 4 in Thunder Blue and Blue Expanse. The funny thing about that, at least to me anyways, is these right here, I like these a lot. This is Thunder Blue as well. And this other shoe here, this is Blue Expanse, right? So they're just recycling these words. Sometimes with the Nike ones, I feel like they're just using the same colors but breaking out new words. I don't know. But either way, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Starting with the bottom, down there, you are looking at a fairly similar outsole to what I just saw on the previous thing I was talking about, these Glide Ride Maxes. But this here has a bit more design going on. Got that trampoline-inspired outsole, right? It's supposed to help you bounce out of all your different steps and whatnot. So that's kind of the thing that's going on there. But I will say, it looks pretty cool, right? Moving on up here to the midsole, right? It's kind of the same deal. Got a lot of stuff happening as far as designs go, which is a good thing in my opinion. You got a little bit of a gradient thing going on back in the rear here with this green going into the blue. So it's pretty nice, right? I do like it a lot. And one thing, I'll just show you a quick picture now. I guess that does translate onto the interior as well, right? So it's got the same sort of designs and stuff. And one thing, at least just for my personal opinion here, I kind of like this thing because if this was just big and plain, I feel like these midsoles would just look ungodly big, right? So doing this, it just kind of draws your eyes in different directions and makes it now looks just overly inflated, which a lot of the shoes do nowadays. So anyways, so a couple other shots in here real quick, right? Now you can probably tell there's a little bit of extra detail going on in the uppers and whatnot of these. It actually looks kind of cool, honestly, and I would be curious to get a closer look at some of the other colorways to see just how they did the stitching and all that, and well, maybe more so what they did with it as far as color patterns go. But this looks like it could be a pretty intriguing look, depending on what the color selection is, and I did see many of them, I will say that. Anyways, let's get on in here and knock out a few little details or whatever, close-up shots and all that. So starting with the toe box, right? So down in here, same sort of thing as you would expect, right? You got your typical mesh. Nothing too crazy about it. It's nothing new and mind-blowing. But I do like the designs. They got these little lines going on the outside of the shoe, right? It's just kind of a cool little touch. And then when you look on the inside, you don't have those same lines, but you got a slightly different color changing going on over there. So visually pretty alright. And then when you look in the middle area here, where the Asics logo is, so that you just have the logo kind of just colored into the shoe, right? Whereas, say with these right here, the Glide Ride Maxes, it was basically just layered on there with these little plastic bits. This is just deep into the fibers and such. So yeah, that's something. Moving on past that to the back, you're seeing a lot more of what you saw everywhere else, just not so much of the logo, right? It does kind of finish up back there, but you know what I'm getting at. It's pretty much just the back of the heel. And now moving on to the very back there, what you have going on, you do have a little bit of branding. It just says Novablast. I don't see the 4 on there for whatever reason, but you got that. I think it was 3M. I honestly can't remember, but if it was, there will have been a picture showing that it was. If it's not, well then there won't be a picture. That's how that's going to work. So otherwise, we're just going to jump back to the front here, talk about the laces real quick. The laces, there's nothing going on special about them, right? But I do like the way they look on the tips, like they got like the green there. So it just kind of gives it a nice little touch of color. Though, depending on you, like I tend to tuck my laces in if I can on my shoes, so that probably won't really show. But it's nice just being there, you know, that little extra effort. Behind there, you have a very thin tongue, as I was kind of talking about before. Super breathable, so that should be pretty nice, right? And then as you go to the top, it kind of has that whole like sideways sort of thing, right? And looking on here, you have the Asics logo on the outer side. And that's gonna be really all there really is to talk about with this tongue. It feels like a sort of like a neoprene sort of material almost, and very flat, very thin. But otherwise, past that, we are gonna jump on in here to the interior. On this one, you have the Asics logo. On the other one, you have whatever that's talking about down in there. So there you go for that. And now let's see, let's jump on over here. Talk about this inside for just a second here. So the same thing as I said on the Glide Rides, I do really like the way they did the interior of the shoe. It just is a cool look. And then past that, it's just gonna give you like the satiny sort of feeling, right? So it's super soft on the, well, I can't say on the feet because I wear socks, so I can't really feel it, but I'm pretty sure it's soft to fit to the ankle if you wear like low cutting socks and whatnot. So there we go. There's everything I feel like I needed to cover. So we are going to do the personal thoughts thing and then the sizing, because that's how I do things. Personally, right? I still do not care for wearing the Novablast series, right? I know what they're geared towards, and it's just not for me. However, to me, even though I have zero interest in really buying them for the most part, the looks of them though, like that is what could pull me in once in a while. It's kind of like the 270 or from the Air Max 270 from Nike or the Adidas NMD, in that both of those didn't care for them, right? But they got a lot of good colors, and that was kind of enough to make me pick up a couple of them. The colors selection is pretty fantastic, to be honest, and running in them and all that stuff, they feel good, right? It's just walking in them. I don't care for that extra little bit of bounciness in them. A lot of people are into that. I'm just not. So that's kind of why, I don't really go for these. But I did see the 5s coming around, and they are leading with a whole suite of color choices. So I might actually pick one up. But, we'll see. We'll see. So this one right here, though, I saw it. I was like, yeah, this is a really cool color. I'm going to pick these up for my aunt. It's her birthday. So we'll see how that whole thing plays out whenever she gets them. But I think she'll be into them. And even if she doesn't care for the color, she'll care for the comfort. Because that's a good thing, right? Everybody needs that. Some people might disagree and they go their own way as far as their shoe choices. Hey, to each their own. I'm just speaking on what I'm into, right? And what some of my family members are into. So there you go. All in all, wrapping that up real easy. I like these visually, but when it comes to running and stuff, they're fine. I can't complain about them whatsoever, but I do have other preferences, right? So I think that's a fair way to put that, I hope. So I don't have anything else to say, which means I'm going to wrap this thing up. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever's wherever you are. Yeah, and I'm actually done recording everything for today, so that's fantastic. Later, people.